Ever wonder how a global business, especially one juggling, countless projects across a multitude of languages,
Mm.
how they truly get a handle on its financial health and operational efficiency?
Mm.
It can feel like trying to assemble this incredibly complex puzzle, right, with pieces scattered all over the
It
place.
really can. And that's basically the core of what we're exploring today. We recently had this fascinating chat with Dr. Paolo Fontana.
Right?
He's a real veteran in the media and entertainment localization scene.
Mm.
Technicolor, HDI,
Yeah.
long career.
Mm-hmm.
And he shared some really insightful perspectives on the kind of FP&A reporting that was, well, invaluable to him.
Exactly. And what really struck me from our conversation was just how intricate that whole localization world is.
Oh,
That you've
absolutely.
got these operational complexities, different regions, this huge variety of services, dubbing, subtitling, all of it,
Yeah.
and just this massive flow of data. How do you even start to pull out meaningful information, make decisions?
Well, that's precisely where good, well-structured FP&A reporting comes in. It's critical.
Okay.
Think of these reports like um, specialized lenses. They let different parts of the business really focus clearly on the metrics and trends that matter most to them.
Ah, right. Filtering out the noise.
Exactly. Highlighting the key drivers.
So, in this deep dive, we're going to unpack the value these reports brought. We're talking operations, sales, finance, IT, and HR.
That's the plan.
It's kind of like getting a peek behind the curtain, seeing how data actually drives the big decisions in this industry. Let's kick off with operations. How does this kind of reporting help the teams on the ground, keep things efficient?
Well, for ops, it's all about efficient production and smart resource allocation. Dr. Fontana really stressed how fundamental it is to have a crystal clear view of your client base
Hmm.
and the workload that comes with it.
That sounds pretty foundational. He mentioned something like a master client mapping table. Why is that so important for operations, even if it sounds simple?
Yeah, it sounds simple, but its impact is significant. This master client mapping table, it basically sets up a consistent way to define and categorize every client.
Okay.
So, for example, a global customer might be defined as one whose projects touch more than one service business unit, or SBU.
Right.
And the main reason for doing that, it's about making the global elimination of intercompany activity, ICO, much easier for accurate financial consolidation.
Ah, okay.
But interestingly, Dr. Fontana noted that doing this simple categorization didn't just help with finance stuff. It actually revealed sort of unexpected overlaps in how different bits of the same major client were using services.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which could then lead to more strategic talks with the client as a whole.
So, like, instead of treating Disney France and Disney UK as separate things, they'd
Exactly.
all roll up under one Disney global client. What's the operational gain there?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the report would also have clear rules, for when you create a new global customer versus just lumping a smaller client into a general key accounts bucket.
Hmm.
Usually based on whether you expect significant intercompany stuff. And this consistency, that's the key for ops. It allows much better tracking of the total work volume and resource needs for those big clients, no matter where the work is actually done.
Right. So you see the whole picture for a major client.
Yeah. Helps forecasting resource needs, allocating people and tech more efficiently across different sites or teams.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So understanding the clients is step one. What other reporting is crucial for keeping operations running smoothly day to day?
Another really vital area is keeping a close eye on the order book status. You need to report the details project delivery status, but crucially, link to due dates and when you expect to actually recognize the revenue.
Right.
That's essential for proactive operational planning.
Yeah.
It might categorize projects like delivered after due month, delivered early, on track, or not delivered yet.
And connecting that to operations, how does that real-time view help them practically?
Well, you can immediately see how it gives them critical foresight. They can see workload fluctuations coming
Hmm.
by seeing the volume scheduled for, say, next month and where things stand now. Ops teams can spot potential bottlenecks or resource shortages way ahead of time.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Fontana actually shared a story where this kind of report helped them head off a potential crisis with a major client. They saw a dubbing bottleneck weeks in advance because of it.
Wow, okay. That's proactive.
It is. And it lets them manage on-time delivery better across all the different services, dubbing, subtitling, whatever. That forward look is just paramount for keeping clients happy and keeping things efficient.
Right, so they can see trouble coming and adjust before it blows up. Okay, let's pivot a bit. Let's talk sales. How does FP&A reporting help them understand performance and shape their strategy?
For sales, obviously, the big focus is revenue and profitability. And a cornerstone report here is definitely the direct margin or DM analysis.
Direct margin. Okay, break that down a bit.
Sure. Simply put, it's the revenue from a sale minus the direct costs you can attribute directly to generating that specific revenue. Analyzing DM is absolutely fundamental for seeing how profitable different parts of the business actually are.
Got it. So what kinds of insights would a sales team get from a good DM report?
Well, the key thing is the level of detail you can get. These reports can break down the DM variance. That's the difference between actual DM and your target, or maybe last year's DM, by individual customer, by the type of service sold, even down to the language involved.
Wow, that granular.
Oh, yeah. It lets sales pinpoint exactly where they're making the most profitable money and maybe where things need a closer look.
Right.
Like they could see if a big revenue jump from a global client also meant a healthy increase in the DM percentage, which is great.
Good profitability.
Or if the growth was just volume at a thinner margin, not so great.
So they could spot if, say, revenue from key accounts grew, but the actual DM percent slipped a bit,
Exactly.
suggesting maybe pricing issues or costs creeping up for those clients.
Precisely. And the report can also show DM variance at the entity level, maybe broken down by region Americas, Asia, a specific hub,
Okay.
and show not just the dollar variance in DM, but the percentage variance too. And critically, it often splits out how much of that total change came from revenue changes versus shifts in the DM percentage itself.
Ah, that's insightful.
It really is. It helps sales leadership spot top performers, understand pricing impacts, cost changes, and ultimately decide where to focus their efforts, which clients, which services. And tracking it month by month shows trends you'd miss just looking at top-line revenue.
That's incredibly valuable. Moves beyond just how much did we sell
Yeah.
to how profitably did we sell it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift to finance. I imagine FP&A reporting is just central for them.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. For finance, it's all about meticulous budget management, accurate forecasting, and just the overall financial health and stability of the company.
Right.
And one area Dr. Fontana really highlighted was capital expenditure.
CapEx.
Okay, big ticket items. Exactly. He stressed how crucial a well-defined, consistently used CapEx reporting system is.
So how would finance use CapEx reports to manage those big investments effectively?
Well, the key thing is usually the layered approach. They track actual spending against the budget year to date. Your classic YTD budget versus actuals comparison, giving you a YTD budget usage percentage.
Standard stuff, yeah.
But a good CapEx report doesn't stop there. It looks forward, too. It includes updated forecasts for future CapEx spending a new FCST amount and clearly shows the variance between that new forecast and the original budget.
Ah, the Delta budget, new FCST.
Exactly. That lets finance manage spending proactively, spot potential over or underspends early, and keep investment plans aligned with financial targets.
And I assume these reports break down where the money's going.
Oh, definitely. They'd categorize CapEx by budget area like solution delivery, tech, IT infrastructure, building expansions. And for good governance, this often ties into a formal CapEx approval system. That system tracks requests, approved, pending, rejected,
Right.
and categorizes them too. Was it budgeted, unbudgeted? What kind of investment is it? Capacity, expansion, tech upgrade? This whole picture is crucial for finance to monitor spending against strategy, manage cash flow, and make sure investments are justified and contribute long-term.
Sounds like a really solid framework for managing those significant outlays. What about the bigger picture? The company's overall financial performance?
For that, yeah, you need a consolidated P&L analysis, profit and loss. That's indispensable.
The main event.
Kind of, yeah. They
Ah.
give that high-level overview, usually focusing on key metrics like EBITDA earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization. A good P&L analyzer doesn't just show current results, it gives comparisons, like a bridge from budget to actual results, or current year versus prior year.
And how would that be structured to give finance the best insights?
Typically, you'd see breakdowns by key regions or SBUs, so finance can see how different parts of the business contribute overall.
Okay.
And the report digs into the main P&L lines: revenue, variable production costs, fixed production costs, SG&A expenses.
The building blocks.
Right. By spotting big variances there, finance can find potential problems or opportunities and feed that info into strategic decisions at the top.
So, from granular CapEx details to the big P&L picture, FP&A really is the backbone for finance. Okay, let's look at how this data helps the IT department specifically.
Right. For IT, it's about managing costs efficiently and making smart tech investments.
Yeah.
And as we touched on with finance, CapEx reporting is huge for IT.
Makes sense.
By looking specifically at IT-related spending within those CapEx reports, budgets for IT infrastructure, tracking specific app dev projects, monitoring cybersecurity investments, IT gets vital financial visibility into their world.
Can you give a specific example of how that helps IT?
Sure, let's say the CapEx report shows a big difference between budget and actual spend for an IT infrastructure upgrade.
Okay.
IT leadership can immediately dig in. Why the variance?
Yeah.
Was hardware more expensive than planned? Did a project phase take longer, needing more resources?
Right, finding the why.
Exactly. So having that financial data readily available lets IT control tech investments much better. And by tracking actual spend on projects against budget and timelines, they get a clearer picture of the true cost of tech initiatives.
Mm.
And that helps assess the ROI over time. It's data-driven decision-making for future tech strategy and helps justify investments to the rest of the company.
So not just tracking spending, but making smarter choices and showing the impact. Okay, last stop. Human resources. How does FP&A reporting give them useful insights?
That's a great question. HR might not use revenue or production cost reports directly, but the analysis of SG&A expenses, selling, general, and administrative is highly relevant.
Okay, SGA.
Yeah, SG&A covers a lot of overheads, and a big chunk of that is often personnel-related costs.
Ah, right. Salaries, benefits, recruitment, that would all be in SGA.
Exactly. Good SG&A reports break down personnel costs,
Mm-hmm.
base salaries, bonuses, social taxes, medical insurance, pensions, all that.
Mm.
And importantly, these reports often let you filter by OpEx function. So there'd be a category for human resources itself, letting HR see their own operational costs clearly.
Okay, got it.
By comparing actual personnel cost to budget and tracking trends over time, HR gets invaluable data for strategic workforce planning.
Right.
It helps them manage labor costs more effectively, understand the financial impact of HR policies like hiring plans or changing benefits, and make sure HR strategy aligns with the company's overall financial goals. They could see, for instance, if hiring in one area is matching budget and growth plans.
So it gives them that crucial data foundation for decisions about staffing, compensation, overall people costs. It's really fascinating seeing how interconnected all these reports and departments are.
Absolutely. What we've walked through today really shows how well-designed, consistently used FP&A reporting, like the kinds Dr. Fontana described, gives invaluable support across the board in a localization business.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about numbers on a page. It's about enabling informed decisions, driving efficiency, profitability, strategic alignment, the whole package.
And for you, our listener, even getting a high-level grasp of these reports gives you a real advantage in understanding the complexities, the moving parts of this global industry.
Yeah.
You start to see how the puzzle pieces fit together and just how critical data is for managing it all effectively.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to chew on. Thinking about how interconnected these functions are and the data that fuels them, what other, maybe less obvious insights could emerge from a truly integrated, dynamic FP&A framework in this kind of business? Think about the untapped potential. Further optimization, maybe better collaboration, unlocking strategic advantages you hadn't even considered. What happens when all that rich data is truly connected and accessible everywhere?